Hey guys, this is Not Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I'm doing one of my old favorite decks. This is Skull Servants. I haven't done this deck in a while. I don't think I've deck profiled it since we did the name change, actually. So it's been quite a few months, I think almost even a year. So I'm very excited to actually take another look at this deck, especially with some stuff that's come off the ban list and gotten changed a little bit. So we're just going to set the extra deck and the spells aside, and real quick I want to just say, if you guys haven't already, go check down in the description for our Patreon link. Just anything would help. So if you guys feel a little generous, go ahead and check that out. It really helps us get the deck profile, so because I got a whole box of decks that I'd like to finish, and I can't really do it without your guys' help. So if you want to help finish some stuff like that, go ahead and check that out. Anyways, without further ado, I'm playing 3 King of the Skull Servants. He's kind of mandatory at 3. All the Skull Servants are really mandatory at 3, but he gains 1,000 attack for every Skull Servant in the graveyard. And I think that's pretty insane, being that he's a level 1 that you can just summon off 1 for 1. I think that's pretty crazy. And then next we have the newest member of the Skull Servant family, White Princess. So what White Princess is she's a little bit of a hand trap. You can send her from hand or field to the graveyard to shrink all monsters your opponent controls by their level or rank times 300. So like if it's a level 3, it'd shrink by 369 by 900. And then, and then when she's summoned in any way, you get to send White Prince from deck to grave, which is pretty crazy. So you can actually like do some pretty cool stuff. Where like if you get her and like Mizuki, and like you have Mizuki in graveyard, you normal summon her, turn her, get her in the graveyard by just activating her effect, then Mizuki special summon her, and then you can send 2 White Prince and just load up the graveyard. Next up, we're playing our White Prince targets, which is 3 Skull Servant, literally just there for like Allure and White Prince and White Prince. And then slightly more useful is Lady in White. Again, mostly here for White Prince, but also comes in handy for protecting some of our zombies. So very cool with this card. And then speak of the boy, and there he is, 3 White Prince. When he's sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 Skull Servant and 1 Lady in White from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can banish him, and is it specifically Lady in White and Skull Servant, or is it 2 Skull Servants and this card from the graveyard to special summon a King of the Skull Servants? So you banish 3 and special summon him. And for the last Skull Servant, we have the one that's hardest to find, 3 White Mare. So what White Mare it does is you discard him to the graveyard, and then you can either special summon a banished lady. You can special summon a banished Skull Servant, or I gotta read this real quick. Give me a second. Select a banished Skull Servant or White Mare and return it to the graveyard, or select a Lady in White and King of the Skull Servants, special summon it. So he special summons a banished Lady or a banished King, but he returns a banished Skull Servant or White Mare. So if you have if you just White Prince and banish Skull Servant and Lady, you can discard this and put Skull Servant back and have a 2k King, which is pretty cool. So that's it for the and all the white monsters are treated as Skull Servant in the graveyard, which is how the entire deck functions. So there we go. Move all those to the side because we have our zombie engine to talk about, which is 3 Mizuki. He special summons a zombie from graveyard by banishing himself. 1 Gozuki, he sends Mizuki to the graveyard and then also has like a little discard effect. And then of course the most important zombie that ever existed, 3 Unizombie, insane, just being able to be just he's a tuner, he modulates his level, he sends from deck, you get a discard, he's insane, and he's also the main way that we make synchro monsters in this deck. He's actually the only way, there's no other tuner. So let's talk about spells. Spells are pretty simple. We're playing 3 Allure of Darkness because the entire deck is dark except for Mizuki. I think even Gozuki is dark. No, Gozuki's Earth. Oops. So yeah. Oh, and White Princess. She's light for some reason. So I guess if you wanted to play BLS, you could. 2 Burial from a Different Dimension. If you have like this and Unizombie, you get a free 3k King of the Skull Servants. Because you'll just go Unizombie, send White Prince from deck, White Prince effect, and then summon King, and then use this to return the 3 back to the graveyard. Pretty insane. 2 Book of Life. This is a Monster Reborn for the deck. I don't actually have a Monster Reborn in this deck, but if I could find another one of my spare commons, I'd definitely be like, yeah, let's put that in there. 2 Twin Twisters. This discard stuff because White Prince likes to be discarded. So I used to only play 1, now I play 2. I think Twin Twisters is pretty good, and having it in a deck like this is like, whatever. And then for our one-ofs, Dark Hole. This could be Regeki if you really want it to be. 1 for 1. This is the summon King of the Skull Servants. Like, there's no other reason. Because this is pretty cool. If you have this and White Prince, you get a free 3k Skull Servant. 1 Foolish, again for White Prince, or Mizuki. Card Destruction. This is one of the new cards I put in here. This is pretty crazy in Skull Servant. So if you have like just a White Prince and some other stuff in your hand, like a Mizuki, you can just activate this and dump like a quarter of your deck to the graveyard. It's pretty crazy. I love that. And then that's it for the spells. And then for traps, I am only playing 2 traps. 2 Solemn Strike. I don't think that this deck really needs any other trap. You can also play like a Strike and a Judgment or a Judgment and a Warning, but I think the 2 Strike is just fine. So that is it for the main deck. For the extra, we have 1 Vampire Sucker. As you saw, this is just a Zombie Link monster, so that's why we play it. And then for Exes, we have our rank 1 Slacker Magician who has the big defense, and then we have, for a little bit of attack, the Downerd Magician. So there we go. For Synchros, for our level 6s, we have 2 Stardust Charge Warrior because it helps us draw cards. 2 Samurai Saga. If you watch the Vendread videos, you know I don't know what this card does. And then for our 8s, Stardust Dragon, because Stardust Dragon is still pretty good. Omega, because Omega can return banished stuff and he's like an honorary zombie, so he's pretty dope. 1 Void Ogre Dragon, because he negates stuff. And 1 Beals of the Diabolic Dragons, because Beals is really hard to kill. So really like this card, really like the extra deck. It's pretty solid. I've never made these. I've never made the Samurai Saga, so you could probably cut them for something else. I also don't think this extra deck is 15. I'm pretty sure it's not. So there we go. That is the Skull Servant deck. I really like this deck, and I've had so much fun playing it, and I'm actually going to take it to our more casual locals next time we have a little event there. So I'm very excited to play that. Once again, as always, tell me what you guys think about this deck in the comments below. And if you haven't checked it out, there is a link to our Patreon in the description. So go check that out because it gives you tons of ways to interact with us. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.